On July 17, 1996, a TWA flight flew from Athens, Greece to New York City. The flight crew changed in New York City before the plane continued to Paris as TWA 800. The flight was delayed by a disabled vehicle blocking the plane's exit, and because of a concern about a passenger-baggage mismatch. The bag was pulled off the plane under suspicion that it was unattended, but the crew confirmed that the bag's owner was actually on the plane. The flight began its normal checklist procedures during taxi and took off. At about 8:29 p.m., the cockpit voice recorder picked up the captain saying, "Look at that crazy fuel flow indicator there on number 4. See that?" The plane was advised to climb 2,000 feet higher to an altitude of 15,000. At about 8:31 p.m., the CVR recording ended. The plane exploded over Long Island, and all 230 people on board were killed. 2 pilots, 2 flight engineers, 14 flight attendants, 212 passengers. The FBI interviewed more than 700 witnesses about the incident. Many reported seeing some sort of light, flare, fireworks, or missile-like object heading toward the plane before it exploded. It took most of the next year, but all 230 victims' remains were recovered. Most of the plane was recovered as well. It was reconstructed to help look for clues as to the cause of the explosion. In November 1997, the FBI announced that the explosion was not the result of a criminal act. At that point, the National Transportation Safety Board took over the investigation. In August 2000, the NTSB released a report explaining its investigation, concluding that the center wing fuel tank exploded, causing the crash. After testing the impact high-velocity explosives would have on the metal, metallurgists looked for similarities around the holes in the aircraft. They found that the holes showed signs of lower impact penetration, which is consistent with a fuel tank explosion. NTSB radar analysis showed no sign of another object colliding with the plane. Investigators never came up with a definitive cause of the explosion. Boeing has since modified the design of the fuel tank on the 747 plane. 96 of the eyewitnesses questioned by the FBI reported seeing a light or flare that moved upward from the Earth right before the explosion. Another witness reported seeing a contrail that appeared to be coming from an object flying toward the plane. The FBI and CIA concluded that the eyewitnesses were incorrect, and they were likely already seeing the plane on fire. Approximately 95% of the plane was reconstructed, and the NTSB still could not find physical evidence of a missile attack. Some eyewitnesses claimed the FBI bullied them into changing their statements. Former senior NTSB investigator Henry Hughes said he had never been involved in an investigation in which the FBI and CIA were called in to help. The NTSB was never allowed to interview these eyewitnesses, according to Hughes. Hughes also observed an FBI official interfering with evidence, including flattening aircraft wreckage. Hughes also states that physical evidence of explosives was found on the plane. Hughes and a citizen investigator analyzed radar data and concluded that after the plane exploded, the debris flew out from the plane much faster than they believed was possible with a fuel tank explosion. Hughes presents 2 possible motives: a military exercise that went wrong, terrorism. In June 2013, the TWA 800 project filed a petition for reconsideration, asking the NTSB to reopen the case and look again at the findings issued in its reports. In July 2014, the NTSB denied this petition.